asked
started
the
recording.
AI summit that Mark Wickerson was doing to come and join this.
Great.
Terrific.
We're happy to have you. Welcome, everybody. Diane Gilson here today, and we have several participants in for this session on AI for Work, our Tuesday meeting, Basics to Breakthroughs, and AI as your event's secret weapon. And we did have a little issue with Zoom, just shut down the Tuesday meetings. We don't know exactly why, but we had to set up a new registration link. So thanks to everybody who went out and came back in after re-registering. And we are able to put the Zoom links in, direct Zoom links in now. But I understand that even with the direct Zoom link, it took you out into a registration screen. We're getting there. We're getting things recreated here.
Right. Thank you for
So,
your persistence. And if you weren't able to get into the original Zoom link, of course, we're going to have the recordings out there within the next 5 to 7 business days.
yeah, that's true. So probably towards the end of next week because we do both Tuesdays and Fridays. And that takes a little time for our webmaster person who is Laura to get things edited and back out there. Thanks for being here. Laura's our COO and will be jumping in. And we have a couple of our other people who work with us at Info Plus Consulting, and we may have them jump in with some ideas and insights and so on. That's great. So glad you're here. So these are the typical screens that we go through on the front end. So read through these quickly. I'm not going to read them all. I think we've all gone out and downloaded a file from the chat window, and we've got a couple extra ones for you today as kind of takeaways and just to have a reference to look at a little bit later. And of course, we're getting together now because AI is here and it's moving rapidly. And actually, I started using the new ChatGPT 4.5, and 5 is coming a couple months down the road, from what I understand. And it's just changing every minute almost. So, employees who know how to use it, they can help their employers. They become more highly valued. People who don't learn how to use AI, it might not feel like it right now, but you know what? It's easing in all sorts of corners. So, you don't want to get left behind. And success now is less about what you know, it's what you can do. Yep, you might have 2 or 3 degrees or not. The playing field has been leveled a bit with AI. Of course, the financial perspectives, because my background is in accounting, all of us want to be able to work faster and smarter and more efficiently as we do our day-to-day work. And we found that it helps to make work more enjoyable and we each become more valuable in our role. And for our teams, other people we're working with, we want to be able to have them work faster, smarter, and more effectively. And that means we can provide services or products in more elegant ways and potentially earn more as we do a great job for our clients. And of course, on our client side, we want them to be able to work faster, smarter, and more productively. And if we help them or teach them how, we can become their heroes. So if we didn't give them a good answer already with AI, if they can learn how to help themselves, that can be great. We're recording late arrivals. We will close the doors to the workshop when we first share files to download, which is usually about 10 to 12 minutes after we start. Confidential information, add either confidential or pretend information to your chat GPT. And we've been trained as work on your work is what we're advised as consultants, but please don't display anything when you get into your breakout room. Breakout sessions, you'll see a timer on your screen showing how long is left in your breakout session. Then there'll be a short delay before you rejoin the main Zoom meeting. Don't leave. We are still here and we will let you back in. Looks like we've got another person joining us. They got in before the doors closed. Welcome and glad to have you here. So I got involved in AI. I started exploring it over a year ago and got hooked. Started out just using it maybe once a week. And then I started going, maybe I'll use it for this. On a daily basis, I started using it more frequently. And then ultimately, I joined the Simple AI Consultants group so I could really learn a lot more. And they have a wonderful black belt training program. And there are over 100 AI focused consultants where we share AI training and creative applications. And those options there are some free pieces and paid if you want to get into a little deeper applications. I also learned that you can use it for every single role in every organization. So it's not just confined to maybe the IT people or something. Everybody could use it from the top to the bottom of the organization. So today's flow, we're going to download and save this PDF slide deck. And I believe Laura's going to put that into the Zoom chat.
I did go ahead and put that in initially, but I'm going to drop in another copy just in case it makes it easier for folks to download.
Yeah, if they joined. Yeah, unfortunately, the chat only displays from the moment that you joined Zoom, which is a surprise, but that's the way they do it. Then we also have the today's prompt. And if you put that into your chat GPT and just wait a minute or two, don't start with it. I'll just offer a couple ideas when you get there. And today we want to ask ChatGPT to help you create an event for your company or for yourself personally. And here's some ideas that I put in to kind of get your brain working on the concept of what you want to do. Is there are places that you might want to use this prompt. It's going to be totally up to you, of course, but I said, well, maybe a company summer picnic, could be work related and family friendly, quarterly AI hands, quarterly all hands, could be AI hands too, or a staff retreat as agents are coming more and more on the scene. Who knows, there might be some of those little robots running around to help you. Client appreciation or a networking mixer, a school or a community fundraiser, or maybe a church or a milestone birthday or family reunion. So if you start thinking of where an event might apply in your world, make a note for yourself because you're going to be filling that in a minute. Then we'll spend 12 minutes so you can work on your individual results. We'll spend 12 minutes in our breakout rooms to collaborate and discuss results. And I'll pull up a reflection screen when we get there. And then we'll spend 5 to 8 minutes on a group takeaway and wrap up. And then I'm going to share my latest set of AI tips that just come from me working in it all the time. So for our 12 minutes of library time, if you'll go ahead and copy, Control C. Lots of times I do Control A first, so everything is picked up, and then Control C, and then you can paste Control V, the prompt from the text file, and you can fill in the information that's requested in the brackets. I'll look at that with you in just a moment. Don't hit enter until you're done entering your information. Submit and review the results. And it might not be perfect, so you want to talk to it. And then as you get started, you can mute yourself. So let's take a quick look. And in this case, what we want to do is go ahead and fill in. Let's see if I go up a little bit, your role. I structured this so it would give you some examples, but you go ahead and fill those things in, wipe out the bracketed and put your own stuff in there. And then you can go ahead and hit go on that. And I'll pull the timer up. And any questions at all about what you're seeing here in the chat?
And so if you've got any questions, you can unmute yourself. You should be able to unmute yourself, or you can put it into the chat and we'll try and get those answered. In the meantime, the timer tells me that it's about time to block the meeting so that other folks aren't coming in.
And I've started the 12 minutes for everybody. So hit the button and go. And I'm going to mute myself and stop my video sharing for this 12 minutes. So we have about a minute left. And remember, if you don't get all done, that's fine, because after you leave the meeting, you'll have your chat GPT there and you can go back and finalize it if you need to. Just like everyday life, the timer kept on ticking. That watch keeps on going. Welcome back, everybody. And unfortunately, Rachel isn't with us today, but Laura, as my co-host, is going to be splitting people into our breakout room.
That's right. So I'm the backup bus driver here. So be patient with me. From what I understand, when you go into your breakout room, you should see some kind of a Zoom notification come up to say, yes, you want to go into your breakout room. When the breakout time ends, it'll take about 15 seconds to come back to the Zoom meeting. Don't worry, we haven't gone away. Don't close your Zoom window completely. Just be patient with us. There's also, Diane, you've got a reflection screen that you like folks to take a look at and or take a screenshot of so that you can think about some of the things that you might want to discuss during the breakout session. And
Right.
then if you want to choose somebody to take notes during your breakout session, that would be great. We want to hear from you when you come back about some of your ideas and thoughts. And now,
Here's our reflection screen.
there we
So
go.
if you want to take a screenshot quickly, that can help you as you're sharing with other people some ideas of things to chat about or just whatever is of interest.
There you go. And now I'm going to open the breakout room. So cross your fingers for me, folks. When I hit that button, you should see the notification coming in just a minute. And then, as always, if you want to stay in the session and watch, we're more than happy to do that while Diane kind of recaps what she's gone through and just the high level overview of what she's doing. And Diane, I've got that timer started.
And let's see, it looks like everybody's in the breakout session now, so that's
great.
Good. All right, so I am going to move that screen over and I'm going to go into my chat GPT and let's see, I'm going to buzz back up. And are you good with seeing my chat GPT here?
I can see it. It looks great.
And I thought it was interesting that when I created the prompt, it provided what's called Markdown, which is what gives me a nice clean set of results with the headers and the.
Oh,
and
nice.
the
So this is when you
things.
actually created the prompt that we're using or that we've got sent out to our viewers. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I asked it to create the prompt for me, and this is what came up. And then I could copy it, and that's what I put over in that text document that you got. Okay, going through it, I went through and here's the prompt. I'm planning an event, would like your help, and so on. Please act as my event planning assistant based on the information I provided. Do the following. Give me 1,000-word overview. Let's see if I need to widen this out a little bit. Doesn't seem to widen this part out a lot,
Yes,
but you guys have the prompt.
I've
It'll,
noticed that when it comes up with a markdown like that, it's not easy to see everything on the page unless, as you said, you widen it. But when you put it
and I
into
widened it,
ChatGPT,
and it still didn't make it any wider there in the middle.
Right.
Okay. And then this is a fairly straightforward prompt, so it'll be interesting to see what people came up with when they did it. And just clearly define the purpose of the event, ask 3 questions to help clarify the ideal tone or theme of the event. Based on my answers, suggest the top 5 decisions I should make next. In each case, it's asking for confirmation. Wait for me to answer before I'm moving on. Okay. That's kind of nice. Otherwise, it has a tendency to skip through and just provide a lot of information.
When I ran that, I found that very helpful, that tip to say, wait for me to answer. That's easy to skip over visually when you've copied and pasted in, but boy, does it make a difference on the way that ChatGPT interacts with you.
And then make everything simple and conversational. That's a tone. And I might not finish all of this in one session. As I was working on this prompt, I was working with ChatGPT to create it. And at first, it created something that was way too simple. And I wanted something that had a little bit more depth. And I said, if people don't get done in the meeting, that's not a tragedy. We want to give people a good start and then something that they can continue with as needed. And this is where I said I'd like to test it first. So I was testing it in the background to make sure it was going to do what I wanted it to. And so it did. I had played with it. I tested it a couple times before to get what I wanted for you guys. And then it says, okay, here's how ChatGPT would respond to my test. And so it starts out and gives me an overview of how it can help you plan a successful team picnic, because that's what I put in on the front end, that I wanted to put together a team picnic. I've participated in those before back when
Mm-hmm.
I was in an accounting firm. And so I said, well, I'm an executive assistant. It's not a 60-person accounting firm. It would be 60 people showing up at the picnic. So let's say you had 20 people in the firm, but then, they're going to bring a spouse and a child. So that was my first best guess at 60 people. And then it says, here's how ChatGPT can help you. And so that's nice to know, giving you ideas about how it can be helpful. And then create a customized planning checklist, spark creative ideas. And it's giving you prompts that you could use. Although there are prompts within this whole thing, it's also giving you those overviews, write everything faster, because there's a lot of different things that have to happen, troubleshoot logistical details. See, like this one, it says write a picnic invitation that I can send to employees that includes RSVP details and a rain plan. So tell people, what do you do? Oh, if it's raining on that day, what do you do? Do you go to an alternate location? Do you gather underneath the tent that we'll have set up? Whatever. Troubleshoot logistical details, plan for what ifs, stay calm and flexible. And you get into the middle of all these details. It doesn't seem like that it'd be a big deal. Like you just send an invitation to everybody and then they show up and everything goes great. But that all has to be carefully planned. And then wrap it up, which I
Yeah,
thought,
just the
that's nice.
overview of it.
Yeah,
This is the overview that you've asked for, right?
yep, yep. And so then it says, let's start applying what you've learned. It's putting a lot of emojis in. I could give it directions to say, forget the emojis, but kind of
Oh, it
keeps your
adds
eye
color
moving
that way.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It gives you a
it's
little
less
something.
of a wall of text. We call that a wall of text. So that brightens it up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So it provides a draft based on what I shared. And this looked pretty nice. But then I sat and thought about it, and it says, do you want to revise, expand, or tweak that purpose statement? So I said, I'd like to include that we'd make this an alcohol-free event, and we'll provide children with supervised, structured, enjoyable activities so their parents can relax and chat with their coworkers. I hate to see people have to spend all their time just running around taking care of the kids, because then they don't get to relax either. And as a family event, I thought, yeah, make it alcohol free. It'll be during the day. Let's not have anybody deciding they want to get juiced up for the event. At any rate, so I added that in. And so it said, oh, that's a great addition. I like it. It always congratulates you. Here's your updated purpose statement. And you can see how it changed. We intend this to be an alcohol-free event with structured and supervised activities available for children so parents can enjoy time to relax and socialize with their colleagues. See, it tidied it up, neatened it up, made it look better than my little blurb in here. And so I said, sure, let's go on. And I have put something out in my chat to say estimated time saved. So you guys might not get this, but I asked it to put a date, time and date stamp, and estimated time saved as I work through different chats. And then 3 questions to clarify the ideal tone or theme. And so I chose, they gave me examples. And so I went, those are nice examples. So I chose the professionally polished but relaxed. It's a professional group, so let's make it nice like that. Have it be a classic picnic with on-site grilling and guests invited to contribute a dessert dish for the dessert table, because sometimes we call that in the Midwest a potluck. But
Potluck. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's a
potluck
Midwestern term. Yep.
dessert table, yep. And 100% informal chatter and mingling. I didn't want to make this a formal event with different speeches by different people. Not really the idea here. We want everybody to just relax and commingle with each other, regardless of what position they have.
Tell you what, Diane, the thing that I have found really helpful on some of this output is the examples. Not only the examples that you provide for the, hey, try this or try that, but this output is like, oh, okay, it helped me think about, oh, I could use this or a combination of some of the suggestions that it gave me, that is just very helpful to spark the thought.
And then top 5 decisions to make next for the thing that I was doing with the picnic. And then said, do you want to adjust or add anything? I went, nope, that looks pretty comprehensive to me right now. So let's just keep going. And then a practical checklist it gave us. And then actually what I did towards the end, I asked it, I said, before we do, if, it says, let me know and I'll give you 3 great ways to continue using ChatGPT throughout the rest of your event planning journey. But I said, before we do that, can you turn this list into a timeline-based checklist? So this is me interacting. I'm going, oh gosh, that's a lot of stuff. Can you lay it out for me in the order? And so it gave me 6 weeks before, 5 weeks before, little check boxes. They don't come out perfectly when you copy and paste them, but 4 weeks before, 3 weeks before, 2 weeks before. And that's one of the handouts that we're going to give you guys once we get back into the main room. So you can have that just as an example. And also at the end, then it does go ahead and give us ways to continue using ChatGPT. And that's the other handout that you'll get. So that's the way it worked. I had fun filling it out and interacting. That's the big deal, I think, for me with ChatGPT, is the ability to see the information, interact with it. I didn't have to fix much. I just added a few extra things trying to envision this particular event. So,
the other thing I wanted to mention was that during mine, it offered me a way to save the output in a Word document or Google Doc, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, nice. So we're back together. And you know what? We have a small group today. So we might maybe start with whoever. Did anybody get selected to take notes or provide feedback?
Lori bowed out because she said it wouldn't be fair
Oh, okay.
because she works for this person named Diane or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we all got some good advice and organization. I did an event for Chicken and Pickle where we eat and drink and play pickleball and other games with the family and stuff, and asked me a couple of questions, and I didn't really have to change a lot. I did change it to non-alcoholic drinks are provided, even though it's just going to be all my family, but still. And I came up with a save the date thing, and then it was started working on the RSVP form, and it last asked if I wanted to do it in Google form or another form builder. So that's where I ended up.
You're probably not ended. You can, when you get a few minutes later, you can kind of keep pushing the buttons and see what all happened. And we did record what happened with mine. And of course, I wasn't limited. I didn't have to keep it down to 12 minutes. Any other people, what kinds of events did you put in? I think we've got a couple minutes we can share.
And while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and drop in the takeaway into the chat as far as it's an additional list.
There should be 2 of them. One that actually shows what I came up with, a checklist, and the other one should just be the example extra.
And Diane, I've got the ChatGPT event planning takeaway and in our PDF and our event planning text. I don't have the additional one, but if you send it to me, or if you want to come, the folks that are attendees will have it out on the site when I put the recording out there as well.
Yeah, just give me a second here. So maybe the folks that are the remaining people, are you willing to share what kind of event you thought that you would do?
Andy's got his hand raised ever so politely, so I know he wants to speak.
Go ahead.
Once in school, always in school. Raise your hand if you want to talk. That wasn't beat into my head as a kid. I'll die with my hand raised, probably. Yeah, hi guys. Nice to meet you. Andy Fankhauser, CEO of Aqua Luxury Systems and Consulting. So my event is actually coming up here pretty quick. I'm doing a table at a booth, if you will, at a farmer's market in my neighborhood, in my cities. And it has to do with higher quality water. It's a luxury water system for your home use. And at the moment, I can't give out samples. I can only be informative. And because of that, and I put that in, I was like, I can't give out samples. This is a non-thing. It said, okay, with the restriction of not having samples given, you have to be engaging. You have to get that approachability factor to people who walk by. What are you doing? How are you attracting people to your table? And once they're there, what are you doing to maintain their engagement, their participation, so on. So it broke it down pretty well. I haven't read it all through yet, but it was really good in that sort of way, where a lot of us, when we show up to an event, nobody knows us in any way, shape, or form other than maybe our sign or what we have on the table, right? It has to speak for us. Aqua Luxury provides that mental recognition. It was like, okay, it has to do with water. It's a luxury product. It's probably top end. I'm a top end type of person. Let me walk up, see what they got going on, that sort of thing. On a side note, everyone who was in the group, I did say Diane is the most awesome person that I know. I've been on several of these classes, Diane, and one you did a couple weeks ago on a resume analysis. I am still like buzzing over because I've told a few people, hey, and part of my consulting business is helping people start a business from the experience that they had in corporate America. And I've used it a few times. And I just want to say, anytime you are in California, hit me up. I will happily buy you dinner because that was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. That's
But
lovely.
I hope
I
that
really
makes sense.
appreciate that.
No, this is really good and very timely for what I'm doing here. I owe you 2 dinners now.
Great. Yeah, and you'll have to report back next time how it went. Because
Right.
I'm sure if you keep asking ChatGPT about phrases you can use and stuff like that, it's going to help you out a bunch. Let's see.
I just sent out the second PDF that Diane mentioned, which is the example event planning timeline. So you should already have the ChatGPT event planning takeaway PDF. I sent that out earlier. Let me know if you need me to send it again, as well as the slides. I'm sorry, Diane, I jumped in over the top of you there.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Yeah, so you can ask, what I did was I asked ChatGPT to give me a timeline about when things had to happen so that it didn't get all overwhelmed and crunched up at the end. So that's one of the 2 takeaways that I threw out there for you. That was for a company picnic. Shai, you can turn on your camera. You have a nice background. And while you're doing that, maybe I'll ask Lori to jump in and say, what kind of an event did you plan? So good. Nice to see you, Shai. Yes, we want your lovely face. I'll go ahead and ask you what kind of an event you had.
For Lori or for Shai?
Let's go with Shai.
For me, I search on like a webinar as well, like organizing, but I focus on how we can do promotion on it, like what platform can we use to attract based on the professional webinar to possible like in an accounting field like that. And ChatGPT showed me like different topics to be posted on different social media, specifically LinkedIn and Facebook, and what else we can post, how we can post them or boost them rather, how we can boost them in order to generate audience for the event there.
Great. Thank you.
Nice.
So you definitely applied it to a work situation. Thank you. And hopefully we will use that in the purpose. Okay. And Lori.
Diane, as you know, I used to work for a trade association that held 70 events a year. So event planning is in my blood is one of those things I happen to know how to do. I also, because you and I are getting so synced up, I also asked ChatGPT to give me that timeline. I'm like, when should these tasks start? What is the normal timeline? And expand the list a little bit to include things you might not necessarily think of. In my scenario, it said make the arrangements for the location. It was talking about an in-person event. Make the arrangements for the location. Be sure to set up your audio-visual needs and things like that. And I'm like, well, you need to expand that a little bit more because are we talking about tables? Are we talking about microphones? Are we talking about lighting? Are we talking about decorations? So I pushed it, and I just kept digging in deeper and deeper. And again, that's what I love about ChatGPT is that you can continue that thread going on. It's like having a round table and you're just talking to people. And as you kick out ideas, you kick it into ChatGPT and it just throws it back at you with, here's what you should do. And it's, oh yeah. So very cool.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for participating and jumping through that ChatGPT. And again, it's still there for you. That prompt is there for you to use again and again. So save it someplace that you can get to it. So these are our takeaways that we talked about. This is just a very short little ad on behalf of Info Plus Consulting. And these are all pretty much towards everything after the latest offering of AI at work are some of our products that I've developed over the years working with construction and manufacturing clients to help them do a better level of job costing. So if you get a chance, these are all clickable links. You could go out and take a look at some of those. And then, of course, if you're not already registered, you can come out here and send this email. And when you go ahead and click on this link, you'll also pick up 10 ways AI training transforms teams and drives results. And then, of course, if you'd like to get into a deeper level of using ChatGPT, get in touch with me and I can share some of those advanced training options for you. And so the AI tips I have this time are just ask ChatGPT. Think of it all the time, AI first. I used to keep a little sticky note on the bottom of my monitor that said AI first. So all those things that we're used to doing and sitting down and drafting the email or putting a list together or whatever, just stop and go ask ChatGPT. So for clients, you could say, I've got a client who's driving me crazy. Help me figure out why and what I should do, both short term and long term for that person. Marketing, I need more business. What are the top 3 ways I can attract leads? Goals, what steps should I take to accomplish something? And then you can say in the next 3 months or in the next 2 weeks or over the next year. I've got a new potential client. Here's their website. We did this at one point with somebody. Please review it and let me know the top 3 topics that I should discuss with them. This happened to be a very technical website. And as I looked through it, I went, I don't understand what some of these terms are. Please fill me in so that at least I wasn't just having to meet with them and go, I have no idea what you guys do. It gave me a very nice outline and explain things. And also I asked it to give me some suggestions so that when I met with them, I might say, oh, what are you guys doing about this? Are you planning on doing blah, blah, blah? So it was very helpful. Social, what's the maximum number of direct messages I can send out on LinkedIn per day? Shy did that actually for us just recently because we ran a LinkedIn event. For the website, how do I improve a page? You could have it look at one of your pages and offer some suggestions for you. For family, my teenager's always glued to their phone screen. What are some of the ways I can more effectively engage with them? Just use it in all sorts of different ways, ask it questions, and interact with it. That's my tip. It's basically about using it. Looking ahead, this coming Friday, we're going to be looking at an action book, Moneyball, and Michael Lewis wrote it. You guys maybe have seen the movie. I found the movie just really fascinating. And it's based on data-driven strategies. And the book picks up the concepts in Moneyball, and we will apply it to your business environment. And I've already gone through that prompt, and it's fun when you have something customized, one of these top authors customized to help you based on your role and your company. It's very neat to see the results. If anybody hasn't registered, that's where you register for that Friday series. And then the next Tuesday that we get together on April 8th, it's ChatGPT, your new help desk hero. And we find that we use ChatGPT all the time for technical questions. We don't have to put in a call and make an appointment. I'd say probably 19 times out of 20, we don't have to get in touch with our IT support company. We can just solve things on our own with ChatGPT's help. Sometimes it doesn't give us a perfect answer, but lots of times it gets us really close so that we can take that next step ourselves. So that's what we have coming up. And any other questions or comments before we wrap up today?
Go for it,
I got
Michael.
a comment. Speaking of doing an IT help, I put in ChatGPT and said, you are an expert residential AC contractor or whatever, and I need help with why this such and such is happening. And it gave me a whole list of things to try, and I got it figured out. But then it kept happening more and more. I had a friend that was an AC guy, and he told me the next step to do, and it's now fixed completely. I didn't have to
Wow.
call any company out to spend $300 and $400 just to tell me to rinse out the coils.
I like that
Amazing.
idea of saying, and Diane, I've seen it in your chat prompts. You are an expert in tell me what to do. You're just laying that groundwork that you're expecting it to tell you what an expert would do. I like that idea.
But you'd
Home
have
helper.
to be sure, to, at the start of your next chat, to tell it to forget who you were in the last chat, though. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'd go from being the plumber to the AC guy to the landscaper. It could be problematic.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't make myself clear. I was saying that you're telling ChatGPT that it is the expert as compared to you personally being an expert on something. You're saying, hey, ChatGPT guy or ChatGPT gal, you're an expert in doing
Or
something.
act
As the
just,
expert.
we've just talked
Gotcha.
about how ChatGPT retains what you've been asking it and develops a tone of voice and develops a response mechanism
Oh,
based
so it
on those
even
questions.
remembers what it has been an expert in then. I hadn't
Well,
realized that.
I don't know if it does or not, but to me, it would make sense that you would want to make sure that you clear that before you moved on to the next. That's
Yeah, it kind of depends. Sometimes you want it to remember background about you, and there are places to do that out in your settings where you can put a lot of information about yourself. And maybe I'll throw that into a tip this at some
Okay.
point in the near future. But also, I've been doing a series for the Woodard Report, 5 ways we use ChatGPT last week. And I might pick up some of those and put them out there, or maybe some of the others. We keep a spreadsheet internally, and we can't get all the times. If I use it 5 times a day, I'm not going to go fill a spreadsheet out 5 times a day. But we do keep a list of how we're using it, and that might be fun that we could throw in some of these, like on the tips. We could say, oh, we used it to do this, and here's what happened. And we add a piece about reflecting, which actually makes you stop. It's not, oh, I just put this in and I got an answer, but you reflect on, oh, maybe I could have done it this way, or it took me 3 shots to get the right answer, or wow, I was amazed, whatever. Just that little reflection where you kind of stop and think about it is useful. Yeah. So I was thinking about that as I was putting the tips together, going, oh, maybe we could share some of those.
Yeah, I do enjoy those articles.
Oh, thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. You wouldn't think that writing a fairly short article would be time consuming, but it is. It takes a while to do
Well,
it.
that's
So
great to hear that we've got folks engaging on that.
I appreciate that. So we'll give you guys 3 minutes back in your day, and hopefully we'll see you on Friday for Moneyball. And if not, then at least the next Tuesday about using ChatGPT to help make it over any technical bumps in the road that I don't know about you guys, but it seems like we run into them regularly because all sorts of things are changing underneath us on a day-to-day basis. That should be fun. So thanks everybody for being here today. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if you like this and you have other business associates, that the more people, the merrier, because then we can trade more ideas back and forth. And hey, good luck on it's a tabletop, right? At a local market. Andy, you can nod.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
It's a new thing for me, so a little
Yeah.
bit of a faith. So I appreciate any good vibes.
When is it happening?
In the next few weeks, I'm getting a confirmation back from the coordinator of the event to make sure I have space and I'm not stepping on anyone's toes and rules, regulations, fees, and all that good thing. So, yeah.
Congratulations and good luck on it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
We'll
you.
look forward to hearing how it went. So
Thank you. I will be here probably in April for your next class around that time.
take
Great,
care.
Great.
All
Have
right,
a
guys.
wonderful
Enjoy.
week,
Be blessed.
everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.